Hey everyone, it's Mr. Ha. Happy New Year. It's been a while since I've made a video, but I've got some pretty good information out there and a new product I'd like to show to you. It's actually not a new product, but it's a good training product for practicing for IDPA. If you're not familiar with what IDPA is, it's International Defensive Pistol Association. If you haven't checked it out, I'll post a couple of little videos in my video here as to what it is, and you can also check them out on YouTube.
Jason, you are next. One, you are on deck.
So I shot my first IDPA match about a year and a half ago, and I gotta tell you, I sucked. It was horrible. I thought it was a great shooter going into it. I saw my first match a couple years ago and just thought, this is gonna be awesome. I'm a very competitive person. I can do this. I was all over the place. There was times where I didn't even hit the target. So it was kind of embarrassing. So my quest ever since then is just to get better. So everybody I've talked to and the guidance I've gotten was to dry fire practice. Dry fire practice as much as you can and you will get better. This thing is safety checked. There's no magazine. We're all clear in here. So what they're saying is, get out there every day and aim at a target and, dry fire practice. Problem I started finding with that is you have to rack it every single time. Which is okay. I mean, you rack the slide, draw from the holster, get your grip, fire. Okay. That was good for a good month or so, and I just said, there's got to be something better. So I ended up getting myself an airsoft pistol because I heard some guys saying, "Hey, airsoft pistol, that's really good to do." That worked for a while until people saw me in my backyard, and we've had a lot of instances out here where, hey, there's some crazy guy in his backyard shooting a gun, so I said, there's got to be something better. So I was talking to one of the competitors at my IDPA match, and he was extremely accurate. And I said, what do you do for dry fire practice? He goes, well, I dry fire practice, but what I do is I use the SIRT training pistol. So what I did was I purchased the SIRT training pistol. So my video here today is going to be showing you exactly what it is and how it has helped me in IDPA. So what we have is the SIRT training pistol here. It comes in a couple different versions. This is the red dot. They also have one that is a green dot, red dot, and I'll explain that in a minute. But this was the least expensive one out of the fold, red dot. It cost me a little over $200. I got it on eBay, brand new. So SIRT means shot indicating resetting trigger. The beauty of this thing is the fact that it's a gun that resets the trigger pull instead of having to rack your slide every time. One of the reasons why I also went with this SIRT training pistol was because of the fact that it emulates my Glock 17. The airsoft pistol that I had was pretty close to a Glock, but it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same trigger, didn't feel the same. I mean, it just didn't emulate it at all. But let's take a look at what we have in here in the box. I'll open it up for you. It comes in a nice box. This is the actual pistol here. It's exactly like the Glock. I'll compare them for you. Of course, it can't be exactly because it's Glock trademark, but if you take a look at them side by side, they're pretty much right on dead even. Even has the Glock standard sights on it. Basically the same length. Now the beauty of that, what I like about that is this trigger pull is almost exactly like the trigger pull here. And you can actually do adjustments to the trigger to make it the same weight and, same trigger pull, the same length, take up, everything, if you want to get that tricky with it. I actually like the weight that it came with. It's a little heavy, so it actually trains your finger, gets some, muscle memory in your finger there. But this is the gun here compared to the Glock 17. It was developed by shooters to complement, not replace, live fire training. This was actually developed by Mike Hughes, and if you're not familiar with who Mike Hughes is, he was in Top Shot. And he's also well known in USPSA competitions. So anyways, let's get a little more into this gun. I'm going to show you a few things, what I do and what I like about it, okay? So like I was saying earlier, the fact that this is the exact, pretty much dead on same with the grip angle, everything with the Glock, that really helps me train for using my Glock. Pretty much actually almost the same weight. And they accomplish that by actually giving you a weighted magazine. It's a dummy magazine, but it's weighted, so it feels like it has bullets in it. Inserts. It also has, you know, your mag release. Now the slide doesn't work. It's not like it's a working slide, so you don't have to worry about that. But the other beautiful thing is the fact that here's my Glock 17 holster. Fits perfectly in there. So now I can actually practice my draws. I can practice my mag changes. What I've also found out is that my actual Glock 17 magazines, here's one here, fit in the gun. So you can sit there and it won't fall free. That's the only thing, is it won't fall free. So what I like to do when I practice my mag changes is have the weighted one in there, drop that one, pull my mag from my magazine pouch, and insert. So then I can practice my mag changes. So that's one thing, another training tool for, you know, changing mags and things like that. Now the package also comes with a couple extra parts. It comes with a couple Allen wrenches, and I believe this is a SIR part in case anything breaks in here. It is battery operated, so you can change the battery in this, and I believe it's kind of like a camera battery. Now these Allen wrenches that it comes with are actually for adjusting your lasers. Now I think I told you before that there's red dot, red dot, red dot, green dot. What I mean by that is the trigger prep laser that we have here is a red one, and then once you shoot, this one is also red. They also come with a more expensive one where this one is red and this one is green. I'm colorblind, so it doesn't really matter to me. I see two lights and I'm fine with it, so I went with the less expensive one. But anyways, these Allen wrenches are used to actually adjust the lasers. One of them is for the take-up laser, so you can actually lower the take-up laser down further if you want to get out of your sight. And the other adjustment that you can do is for elevation of your trigger pull laser, and you can also do windage on it so that you can get it exactly dead center on your sights. So that is one good thing they give you these. Also, they also have a second one in here that's for adjustments to the trigger once you open this up. Like I said, you can open this up using these pins. There are instructions on how to do that in the guide that they give you here. Mainly for troubleshooting. I wouldn't really open this up to take a look at. There's some delicate features inside of here that I've watched a lot of the videos on YouTube from Mike Hughes, and he goes through the whole thing. So if you ever have any questions about that, you can also YouTube it and see everything that he does. So let's get into the aspect of how this thing actually works. What you do is, the most important thing about getting better in using any gun, not just for IDPA, but it is trigger prep. And what we mean by trigger prep is, I'm going to use my left hand so you can see. As you approach your target, of course, finger always off the trigger. But when you're in IDPA, once you are on target, you want to prep the trigger. And that is getting it to the wall just before the trigger break. Okay? So if you can practice that, which is one thing you really can't do dry firing with a regular pistol because of the fact that you always have to rack the slide. So this thing actually has two lasers. I'm not going to do it too closely, but when you prep the trigger, the bottom comes on, and once the trigger breaks, the second one comes on. So if you were to look at the target, when you're prepping the trigger properly, you're going to have one light and once the trigger breaks, you get the second light. Now you could set what I do is I set up targets, or I actually have my IDPA targets outside in the backyard, and I can actually practice scenarios or whatever I want to do using this. So you can sit here all in your house, practicing at your couch, doing whatever you want to do. But the main thing is the fact that you can get ready and prep your trigger. Then once you're ready to shoot, fire. And the object is the reset on this is also the same as the reset on your gun, which is why I like this, because you don't have to rack the slide to get back to your reset. So the object in training is to always have your trigger prep, trigger pull, once you reset the trigger, to try to keep that light on, because once you let go fully, the light goes off. Then you have to, trigger prep again. So a lot of common problems that you see with people that are all over the place in IDPA, or even if you're just shooting period, is called slapping the trigger, letting go fully after each one. What you want to do to become more accurate is to actually pull that trigger, bring it back to reset, pull again. And this also gets you muscle memory to keep that trigger on the pad of your finger. So once again, this is how you prep the trigger, pull, reset, keep it there, go. This will actually make you a faster shooter and more accurate, as opposed to letting go of the trigger fully. So that is one of the beauties of this gun, which was much more training better than using the airsoft pistol also, because those little BBs aren't very accurate. This is going to give you a true accuracy to where you are shooting on the target. The other training aspect of this gun is not only for trigger prep and accuracy and things like that, but it's also, the other part of accuracy is keeping the gun steady when you're pulling the trigger. This thing will tell you right away if you're moving the gun. Right now it's pretty easy because I have it stacked onto the desk here. But when you're practicing and you notice that when you fire, your laser's moving all over the place, then obviously you're not keeping your gun steady, you're not pulling that trigger back properly and getting it right on target. So it's a good training aid. You'll notice after you use this for a while that you're actually concentrated on holding that trigger steady, pulling straight back and keeping that gun steady. That will also help with your accuracy, and that's one of the good things, benefits that you'll get from this gun. If you're out there to try to improve or get better at shooting, I would definitely recommend the SIRT pistol. It's really a great training tool for dry fire practice. I know there's a lot of other lasers out there. There's a laser light. I know that Glock also sells one that inserts into your own pistol. But once again, you still have to rack your slide to get those to go, or spend a lot of money on some that don't. For $200, this was a great tool. So anyways, like I said, if you have any questions or comments about what I've just said, or you want some information on where to get a SIRT, or any information on how to use it, just leave me a comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Talk to you soon. Have a great one.